Welcome, everyone, to another production from Clover Green Homestead. We're excited about this one. It's about one of the first additions to the homestead, our little Nigerian dwarf goats, Skunk and Badger. Hopefully you've already seen their arrival video from early last year, but I guess it doesn't really matter because you can watch it whenever you want. It's amazing how quickly they grow up. Truly amazing, because soon our babies will be having babies of their own. Chantel wanted to make sure our kids arrived in the spring, so back in October, we acquired the services of an experienced buck named Leroy. Leroy is registered on the National Goat Registry, as is our Badger. When they're registered, you can look up their compatibility from a genetic standpoint. Apparently less than 3% is good. They measured 1 point something. Happily, we went to pick him up. He wasn't too sure about where he was headed, and it wasn't long before we noticed a pungent odor coming from the nervous beast. I had been warned of this, as Chantel had experience with male goats in the past, but I thought maybe it wouldn't be that bad, since our girl goats don't smell at all. It's the kind of smell that dawns on you, but once you know it, you'll never forget it. I was told not to touch their beards, and it's good advice because they like to freshen their scent quite regularly, and they do that by peeing on their beards. It's quite gross.
Oh, look. It's that pretty girl. Oh, yeah, there's the tongue. Oh, he's interesting.
Gross.
Who's this guy? Girls. Yep. That's a boy for ya.
It's terrifying.
That's a very typical example.
How pregnant are these goats?
Very pregnant. Goat gestation is 145 to 150 days, and they're about day 120. So they've got like 3 and change to go left, and then that's it.
How many goats are we getting?
Well, we've placed our bets, so we think that Badger's having 3 and Skunk's having 2, but Nigerian Dwarfs can have anywhere from 1 to 5. We did have a little bit of a health scare with Skunk a couple weeks ago. Just some things were abnormal. She wasn't quite acting herself, had the vet out. She did do an ultrasound and she confirmed there's at least twins. So, for sure 4.
She's not as big as this one.
She's still huge, but she does have a puffier coat, so I don't know, it's hard to say. It'll definitely be 4. We're hoping for doeling so we can keep them and expand the herd. Just keep the does so we can have milk.
Milk and cheese and soap.
And butter.
And butter.
That's like my number 1.
And butter.
We picked Nigerian Dwarfs because they're cute and small, obviously. They're nearly full grown. They're full grown at 2 years. They're just over a year. And they only stand between 18 and 22 inches, and that being the males being 22. So they're pretty small. I mean, like, they're at their puffiest right now, unless they're pregnant. And they have a really high buttercream content, butterfat content to their milk, which means that it's really rich. And it's perfect for butter, cheese, soap, and they're not a very goaty goat.
No.
So their milk isn't really strong. It's creamy and sweet.
They don't smell like the goats at the animal farm.
They smell amazing. They smell just like hay.
They smell better than this
I
thing.
mean, they're dirty, they're messy right now because of the bits of hay that they're wearing, but yeah, they're clean. Yeah, they're good. They're very pleasant. They're so good with the chickens and the horses too.
And they can't be alone, right?
No, they can't. They're part of a tribe. I mean, they need to have companionship, and a lot of people think you get one goat, you can stick it in a pen with sheep or, you know, llamas, whatever, but they're always going to be lonely. They need that companion with their same breed. They're very social goats, actually. They're probably the most social goat. So, I mean, they see you in the yard, they're going to seek you out, chase after you. You want to play with the kids. They're just very lovely. And as you can see, if you come over here, if you look underneath, we'll get that shot there. It's called bagging up, L1, which means that their milk is starting to come in for the very first time. And you can see, like, it's kind of bulgy. So her body's preparing to deliver in the next few weeks or so. And then another way to tell, stuff happens in the back end. You don't need to fill you in on that, but their tail, you can actually, if you give their tail base a little wiggle, you can feel that the ligaments, everything's kind of loosening and preparing. Usually, you know, roughly about 2 weeks out when it's going to happen, but we have the exact date, so it makes it easier.
Yep.
Yeah, they're good little goats. They're fun.
Exciting times ahead.
Crazy times ahead. Very, very busy. There'll be, we are preparing for triplets just in case. If they have twins, easy. They bond with them, no problem. If there's a triplet, sometimes that by the time the third one comes around, they're not really attached to it because they're kind of, they've got their hands full. So we will be preparing to bottle feed in case we need to, but I think they're going to be really good mamas.
Yeah.
We're going to get a stanchion built so
Yep.
we can start milking once they're beginning to wean. Just like puppies and kittens, they wean at 8 weeks old. So around 6 week mark, we'll start kind of beginning to hand milk the girls. I find Badger is a lot more acceptable of touch with her udder. I'm kind of practicing that now. That Skunk is a little more like, don't touch me, but she's also uncomfortable. I mean, they're so pregnant. So she may be a little more feisty, but they'll get it.
Yep. Any final words?
No, not really. Goats are great. I'm the crazy goat lady.